Alex Jones was on the PBD podcast, and during their conversation, he gave us some insights into Pam Bondi's probably most embarrassing moment during her testimony before the House Judiciary Committee. This was about the Epstein files, the release of the Epstein files. She really didn't want to talk about the Epstein files, and this is what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Trump has been convinced that it will crash the economy if all these bankers and people, if this stuff comes out, and he thinks end justifies the means, it's too dangerous. I'm not defending this. I'm telling you what Trump's been told. And that's why I said he's told it'll crash the stock market. Bondi yesterday, it'll crash the stock market.
The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
They know it's a giant mess of BS and crap. And then the women that are the victims and the survivors, almost all of them were, got into it. And that's how it worked. And we're actually madams, out running these operations.
So, in the tail end of that clip, as you just heard, he seems to be doing a little bit of victim blaming here. Seems like he's attacking the survivors. And if you're thinking, nah, come on, Anna, he wouldn't do that. I want to now turn to a longer video where he does exactly that.
The women that they've, settled with and then are the victims and all this stuff, almost all of them are the women that ended up working for Epstein for years and years and years.
Recruiting other young girls to come to him for $200, $100.
Absolutely.
You'll get paid.
Absolutely. Some were bought at age, this is public, at age 9 or 10 from their Eastern European parents, flown here and then worked for him for decades. And so exactly, they're the ones that manage and run the women. And so when you see these women up there, you have to understand that in many cases, you're looking at people that for 5 years, 10 years, worked for Epstein and were part of it. But see, that's how they stop it. Those women then tell a limited story about what was going on. But then you read the names of some of the women, they're in all the emails preparing the beef jerky. A couple of women in there were actually girlfriends after they were adults and worked for Epstein for over a decade. And it turns out worked for George Soros. So see, I'm not trying to demonize the women. I'm just saying it's what you're seeing is not what you're actually getting here.
So let me get this straight. The 8 and 10-year-olds who were purchased from their Eastern European parents and brought here to the United States to be exploited by Epstein and his co-conspirators. They're actually not survivors. They're not victims at all. They're madams. They're madams. They get raped until they're adults, and then they end up working for Epstein. And so as a result, they have no credibility. Like, what was that argument? What was that? What was that? And what are you trying to cover up for, Alex? What was that, Cenk?
Yeah, so he doesn't want anybody to listen to the victims, and he's trying to smear the victims.
Survivors,
in fact, yeah. Anna, it reminded me of Alan Dershowitz.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's why earlier in the program I was talking about his connections to Israel, because he's doing the same exact Israel first strategy. Attack the victims, say they're the ones that are really at fault, make it a partisanship issue so that you divide the country and that no one bothers to look up. And in all of his conspiracy theories, he just couldn't find a way to actually care about the victims and actually go after the predators. But the predators are scot-free. There's no investigation, and Alex Jones doesn't seem animated by that. He doesn't seem to care much about that, but he does care a lot about attacking the victims. Maybe he's in the room with the predators all of a sudden. Maybe he likes that, right? I mean, how many times is Trump mentioned in the files? How many people in the Trump administration are mentioned in the like? Maybe Alex Jones finds that access to the White House way more important. So why not throw cold water on the claims being made by the women now who were purchased as children from their Eastern European parents earlier? Like, what was that? That was so disgusting, okay? That disgusting hog. And by the way, one other thing that I should know, think about the context. Think about all the other things that we've discovered through the Epstein files in recent days. Namely things like
the massive drums of sulfuric acid that Jeffrey Epstein purchased on the same day the FBI opened up an investigation into him. Gee, could it be that maybe there's a possibility, I don't know for sure, but there's a possibility that the sulfuric acid was purchased in order to destroy evidence? Because sulfuric acid will melt human bodies, including human bones. Maybe something we should look into. So when you're on a freaking island with all of these billionaire predators attacking you, and Epstein demands that you recruit other females, children to be exploited, I don't know, there's a possibility that if you don't comply, you could get killed, number one. Let's go to that graphic, by the way. This is what I'm talking about when I refer to the order of sulfuric acid. If you look at the description, the purpose or description for the purchase, it says 6 55-gallon drums, sulfuric acid with fuel and insurance charge for transport. And the claim is that it's being used for a reverse osmosis plant. And that could be true. But you know what I also think is fascinating? That we found out that homeboy had a freaking trap door to the ocean in his estate. Gee, I wonder what he did with that. What was the purpose of that? But we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk about the 8 and 10-year-olds who were purchased from their parents in Eastern Europe by Jeffrey Epstein and demonize them? We're gonna demonize them. Okay, yeah. I see through you right away, Alex, right away. Disgusting.
Yeah, so Ryan Grimm found one of the emails today, he put it up on X, of an Epstein girlfriend sending Epstein an article about a young college woman who went missing. There's no explanation of it, she just sends it. Like they already know. Like, I don't know what happened to that girl. We don't know what happened to the baby of the 16-year-old who was raped by Leon Black, according to the documents.
According to her diary.
Yeah, and you buy the sulfuric acid on the day that you might have to bury evidence. If you think that's a coincidence, sorry, but you're a moron. Of course, that's not a coincidence. Obviously, it's to get rid of evidence. The question is, what evidence? So did we get any of the tapes? But I don't know why they bother getting rid of the evidence. Our government never investigates it. And so again, back to Alex Jones, all these conspiracy theories, and in that podcast with PBD, it's like, Skull and Bones and George H.W. Bush and these secret societies and the cult, blah, blah, blah. Or could it be, like the governments and the intelligence agencies that do conspiracies all the time? So that didn't occur to Alex Jones. Hey, maybe it's the Saudis, maybe it's the Israelis, maybe it's the British, whatever. Nope, didn't occur to him. No, it must have been a secret society of the occult from the 1800s. But whatever you do, do not investigate the predators, do not investigate Republicans, do not investigate anything but the victims. Yeah, okay.
Listen, if you're a woman in the United States of America, get a good hard look at our government and our law enforcement agencies and understand this is what we're dealing with. So if you're an adult female, go to a gun range, start training, know how to protect yourself. If you are a mother to daughters, okay, teach your daughters how to throat punch someone. Teach your daughters how to defend themselves. Because in this country, we have to essentially protect ourselves. We can't rely on the people whose salaries we pay to protect us. That's the reality.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.